On this episode of LARP Chats, I'll be interviewing Dee Metria. At the time of this recording, she plays out of Iron Keep, an Amtgard group in Eugene, Oregon. In this episode, we'll find out what class is their favorite class to play, what their favorite aspects of Amtgard are, and how they are able to still play the game and be involved while being confronted with a disability. If you enjoy this video, consider liking it, and please subscribe to the channel for more LARP content. You can also consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description below. And now on to the episode. Hello and welcome to LARP Chats. Today we have Dee Metria. She's been playing Amtgard for 10 years?
10 years.
So when you think about Amtgard, what does Amtgard mean to you?
I mean, a lot of things. First and foremost, it is a game, but honestly, I think more importantly than that, it's a community. There's so much that happens around what happens on the field. Instead of like some boffer sports and some LARPs, they have, they're exclusively battlefield. We are much more developed than that.
So when you first started 10 years ago, what was one of your favorite classes that you like to play?
So when I first started, I actually never stepped foot on the battlefield. So I didn't play classes for quite a few years. I have health concerns that make it so that I can't get hit. The one that I intended to play, if I were to, was Assassin.
Why? This was also in a different edition, wasn't it? Was this 7.7?
Yeah, it was.
Or one of the sevens?
One of the sevens. Yeah.
So what kind of drew you to the Assassin class?
I've always played rogues and stealth-based classes in video games and in like D&D. Rogue is my favorite class. So having the stealth and the ability to use range, it seemed like fun.
Well, now it's 10 years later, new edition.
Yeah.
What is the class that you like to play now when you get a chance to play?
I still play Assassin. I use the abilities to go insubstantial to help make it, that's the only way that I can actually be on the field and not get hit. So I take my bow out, and if someone gets too close to me, I will either go insubstantial, or if I can't and they get too close, I will take the death. I'll take the death, please don't hit me.
Right. And you use the bow.
Yes.
You're actually using the assassin class more like an archer and using their abilities to protect yourself effectively.
Yep, that is exactly what I'm doing.
Sounds really fun.
It is. I enjoy it a lot.
So what is fun about Amtgard to you?
I mean, the games are fun, but most of what I do is outside of the battlefield. I actually love being in office. I know a lot of people really, really don't, but I do. I like the way that being in office, you get to see different aspects of the populace. You get to know them in a different way. And you get a closer eye on what they're doing. And I really enjoy that. I also enjoy serving feasts at events and helping run tournaments. Pretty much all aspects of service. It's what I really like to do. At Amtgard, being disabled, I don't get a lot of opportunity to feel useful. But I get that in Amtgard, and I enjoy that.
That's a great feeling.
It is. It's vital to feel needed in life.
For sure. Yeah, it's really great that you enjoy that stuff because Amtgard needs it a lot because it's a volunteer-run the organization. And so we need volunteers, and the people that enjoy doing it, or it's even better because they do a better job, generally speaking, because it's something they're passionate about, which we talked about earlier today, actually. Yeah,
the passion shows in what you're doing.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to the awards now, which you recently got an award, which we'll go over. You got your crown belt, crown knighthood, which we will get into a little bit. But how do you view the award system in general in Amtgard?
I might need a little more context than that.
A lot of people have opinions on is the award system good? Does it help certain areas? Does it cause problems in certain areas? What is your overall opinion on how it affects the game and how it interacts with the game?
Okay. I think it does a little bit of everything. I mean, it definitely can cause some problems when some people feel that they've been looked over, which happens all the time. I mean, we can't be everywhere. Monarchy can't see everything. And so a lot of stuff gets missed. And that sucks. I've been on the receiving end of that. I have been glossed over, and it sucks. But it also does encourage people to do things, because when you feel like what you're doing is appreciated, you want to do more of it. Like, as Monarch, my favorite, even over Masterhoods, my favorite awards to give out are someone's very first order in anything. Their very first award, because that is the most important, because that's what gets them coming back. When they recognize, oh, people are actually like appreciating what I'm doing, I'll do more of it. I want in on this. So it keeps them coming back. And that's really important.
Feels nice to be recognized.
Yeah. It's a way to acknowledge what people are doing and recognize that. And it's my favorite part of being in office. It's the most fun part.
I can understand why.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about each individual knighthood path. So there's the Flame.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on the Flame and how it relates to Amtgard and your personal experiences with it?
You know, Flame and Crown are our most vital paths, because without volunteers, we don't exist. Our game just doesn't run without these people in them, and our events don't happen without them. There has been a shift, at least in Blackspire, that I really appreciate. It used to be that the only way that you could get Master Rose was by autocrating events. And that's still the same in a lot of kingdoms. And I think that's disappointing. And I'm glad that we're not doing that. I have my Master Rose, and I've never autocrated a single event. The only things that I do on a Krat team are head server and maybe tourneycrat. It's so important to recognize the people who are doing all the little things. People who are making sure that our events are running, that things are getting cleaned.
Yeah.
We're leaving parks and sites better than we found them. They're running our games, they're running our tournaments, they're running our ANS stuff and judging. They are our most vital people.
I agree. So now bring up the next path, which you're very familiar with because you are a Crown Knight recently received.
Yep.
So what is your opinions? The same basically question as the Flame question, but for Crown Path.
Yeah, I appreciate that we have another shift, but this is game wide. Having Orders of the Crown, I really appreciate that, because without that we just don't exist as an organization. And having Orders of the Crown allows us to recognize someone who is maybe running in land level more than once. Because under the old system, you could get a title for running for land level, but that was it. And if you ran the same position, you couldn't get the title twice. But now you can earn greater orders for consistently doing things. And that's really important, to be able to recognize our people.
It is. It's nice. Land level now counts towards the Crown Path.
Yeah.
So it used to be just kingdom stuff.
Yeah, or duchy.
Or duchy. For people that do not know, the Crown Path changed. It used to be a point system based on how many offices you've done in the kingdom level and the duchy level. And now even your shire level can count towards the Crown Path by Orders of the Crown. I
am really appreciative that we've made that shift. It's really important.
Me too. So bringing up the next path that I would like to bring up is the Sword Path. So what are your thoughts about the Sword Path in relation to Amtgard?
I've had a pretty decent view on what it is and what it means to be a sword knight. I am definitely not ever going to be one, but my partner is, and I've been with him since before he got it. So I've seen the push to get it, and I have seen what he's done with it. It's very interesting because I'm actually realizing now that I'm noticing that there's a lot of change and shifts being made in the paths and what it takes to get there. Because Sword is another one that I am glad that there are shifts. Because my partner, he came very close to breaking himself completely trying to get his sword belt. And because the requirements were just irrationally high and unreasonably strict. Now it's becoming more reasonable to obtain. It is still one of the harder ones because you can only get it through tournaments. And there are only so many tournaments in a reign, and you have to win them or get streaks. And that ain't easy.
No, it's not.
It takes a lot, and it takes a lot of practice, both sparring with people and practicing in your downtime. And yeah, I'm glad that it's getting more reasonable, but it's still maintaining that it means something.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's not getting lost as well.
Me too. Speaking about having a lot of time outside of the game to have to work on stuff, thinking about the Serpent path, the arts and science path, generally speaking, you have to do a lot of work outside of it, outside of the game, because a lot of the creation of the projects is done not on Park Day.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts on the Serpent path?
I love the Serpent path. I am not on it. I mean, my highest is a 5th Garber, I think, and I accidentally got there. I got that through my knitting stuff. I love it because it is the one path to knighthood that you have the most routes towards available to you. You can get it by doing so many different things. You can get it through garbing, through leatherworking, through any kind of craft you can earn orders for. And I love that. Honestly, when I recruit people, or try anyway, one of the things that I tend to advertise the most is how important crafting is and how much that matters. Because people like to be creative, and they like to feel that their creativity is getting acknowledged and appreciated. And it's so much fun to watch what people are doing and watch what they're making and getting to award that.
Tom, coming to our last path, it's also our newest path, the path of battle, actually playing the game.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on this new knighthood?
I am absolutely stoked that it's a thing now. Up until now, we've only been able to award people up to 4 for what they do on the battlefield, when battle games are most of what people get into Amtgard for. That is our draw. That is what gets people interested in the first place. And it is what we're built around. Tournaments are great, but that's not what Amtgard was built around. And getting to recognize people outside of Paragonhood is great. It's important, and I'm really glad that it exists.
Again, me too.
Yeah.
So for the future of Amtgard, what was your hope or aspirations for the game in the coming years?
I hope for more recruitment, more people, of course. I hope that we become even more inclusive than where we are right now, and that we just keep building and trying, that we don't rest on doing the good things, that we keep pushing, and that good people don't get burnt out.
Yeah, that's a big one, burnout, especially for the Serpent, and not the Serpent, well, I guess Serpent too.
Yes.
All the paths, really. Anything you try to do in this game, you have to spend a lot of time doing it if you want to get the knighthood.
Yep.
And there's always the risk of burnout.
Always.
Yeah. It seems especially high in offices.
Yes.
But I think it's one that burns people out the quickest.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the few people that I've seen do 2 reigns as Kingdom Monarch and not completely quit the game for at least a while.
Oh, yeah.
Right after. I mean, I did take some steps back, but then I enjoy the job.
I think I know the answer to this ahead of time because we're at elections, and you're one of the people running for Monarch. What is going to keep you engaged in Amtgard in the coming months or years?
I mean, I plan on running for office. Even if I don't win this election, I'm still going to keep coming out and helping the kingdom in any way that I can, helping my park. Next year, instead of running for kingdom office, I intend to run for my local level office. And through the winter rains, just showing up when I can, because I love this game. I love my kingdom. I love my community. And it's the people that keeps me engaged and keeps me coming back, and has for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems to be doing all right. 10 years is a while.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for watching LARP Chats. Today we had Dee Metria. I'd like everyone to thank Dee Metria for coming on, and I'll catch you next time.